Welcome, everyone. You're tuning into Engaging Walk. My name is Drake.
And my name is Rubie.
We believe in the power of walking together and talking together.
It's a simple act to stay connected, and movement is key.
Okay, so this week we're going to be discussing 2023, a bit of a recap on this year. It was a very exciting and eventful year for us. And we're also going to be looking into gearing up for 2024, the upcoming year. And so this week we did our Engaging Walk at the Harry Griffin Park, which is in La Mesa, California.
It's a beautiful park.
Not too far from where we live. And so we went there, took Boba, our little corgi girl, the dog, did some exercises, some walking, and let her run around and all that.
Yes.
It's a beautiful area of San Diego, and if you guys are in the area, I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the content for this week. So this week we're going to be talking about a reflection on this year end for us. So Rubie took some time to ask some questions that we are going to be asking each other, and we're going to be using this guide as a reflection worksheet for us, essentially, so we can look back on really critical events that happened. So how do you want to start off with that? Do you want to just ask each other some questions?
Sure, and then so we will ask a question. So if you have a note with you, go ahead and write it down, or you can find out the worksheets on our engagingwalk.com if you are a note taker. So I'm encouraging you to visit the website and download that format. So I will create that for you. But sure, I would think we just ask questions, and then whoever have an idea to answer that. Also keep it in notes that these questions you may need some time to think upon, ponder on. So don't worry about it if you don't have an answer right now. But for us, we just bounce back and forth.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's just ask each other these questions. I'll start off with you. So what was the most important goal that you achieved this year?
The most important goal that I achieved this year, also with your help, which is start my 10 years plan, which is start a kindergarten online. So if you don't know, I have a dream to have my own kindergarten or daycare. Last year I was again like during this time, and just we're just talking about it, and then out of nowhere he pushing me to start the business. And so yeah, that is the most important goal that I achieved this year. What about you?
Yeah, that was a great goal that we achieved. And it was, like Rubie said, it was a lifelong goal that she had of starting her business for at least for 10 years. So
yeah,
that's an amazing goal to achieve.
That's a long time being pregnant with that dream. Yeah.
So for me, I think the most important goal that I achieved was publishing my album, which was Fujiwara Effect, under the artist name The Water Bear, which is a band that I have with a couple of friends. And so that was a big accomplishment. That was published back in May of 2023.
Yeah, May 3rd, I still remember.
I'm sorry, 2023. Not 2003.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Because the next day, or actually the same day that we pick up Boba, right after, not the Boba drink, it's a Boba dog.
Yeah, our little corgi.
Yeah.
So that was the same day that we got Boba. We published it, and then drove out to Riverside to go pick
California.
her up.
Yes.
And came back. And yeah, and then I had withdrawn it, and then
our life changed so much.
Yeah, I withdrew the publication, and then adjusted the vocals so that they were like a little bit lower in terms of like volume, and then after that I published them again.
Yeah. You ready for the next question?
Yeah, I'll take the next one first.
3 things you are grateful for right now.
There's so many things I'm grateful for, but to start with just 3 things. First will be my lovely wife. We've been married now for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So
a little bit more than a year. Yeah.
And it's been a great experience and a lot of fun being married together. And so I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for God and our church. There are so many people there that help us out so much. And that's a blessing to have people there. And I'm grateful for the pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it simple with those three. Just pretty much our family and all the things that God has given us, and for our church.
Awesome. Great. Do I have to
And then
answer
for you, what are the three things that you're grateful for right now?
it right now? So I would say the same thing. The first thing that a lot of people mention that the first year of marriage is really hard, but I have been it's not easy for us, but I think I enjoy it more most of the time. Of course, if I said that it's the beautiful like heaven, then I'm not being truthful. Like there's certain things that we work on, but it's very like easy, not like a hard thing, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think since we do the DTR and since we are have a lot of similarities, it make it very easy. And plus, you're such a beautiful and wonderful husband. Like you're very thoughtful, and you put your family first. So that make everything so much easier. The second thing, of course, for God, not that I put him, below you, but for him to carry us through all the crazy things that we've been through the year, and I just see his faithfulness and provision throughout, and it just so much more. Not just provision in terms of finance, but like memories that he let us create those together. So I love those things. And besides the pregnancy, I'm not sure I'm the one that carried the baby, but I enjoy her a lot. She's a very easygoing girl, and she's it seems like she's gonna be a fun person to get to know. But also I want to shout out for Boba. I love this girl. I remember this was one night when we just had her. I was in the car and I was crying to Drake, like, this girl is not a plus, she's a minus.
True story.
I was like, I thought getting a dog is a plus to our life. No, she's not. She's not even like, at that moment, she was so attached to Drake. She ignored me completely. And even though I, like, at the beginning, when I pick her up, she immediately, like, connect with me, but then slowly driven apart from me, and then so attached to Drake. And mind you that I was with her the whole day, but her continent or her character changed when she saw Drake. I'm like, oh, nice. So anyways, at that moment when I complained to him, I was like, this girl is a minus. Plus, because I'm with her the whole time, so I dealing with all discipline and training, but right now, the personality and who she is turned out as almost a mature dog. I really happy with that. We right now I loving her. I'm love her a lot, and she definitely a plus to the family.
It's I know we've done 2 episodes on Boba. One when she was pretty new to our family, and a second one when we were just sort of recapping. And she was a lot of work at that time. And it's like I told Rubie, like, the working dogs, you have to work with them.
Yeah.
You have to be patient with them, and they have to have tasks. And hers is, I like chasing the ball, and she likes chasing things because she's a herding dog. So having that patience with them and growing together and seeing what type of dog she is, and having her know like what we expect out of her. It's been, they had like, there's like this GIF or like a meme that says like the lifespan of a corgi.
Oh.
And it shows like a sweet corgi when they're like a baby, and then Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then when they're an adult, it's back to sweet corgi. So yeah, there's definitely a period where they go through their Tyrannosaurus Rex phase, and for her, she was just like so much work, but
Yeah, we constantly every single week with I think the moment we thought that oh she graduate to the thing that she learned from last week or 2 weeks ago, we go back to the ground zero. But that's how I think pups learn, and repetition and constant trust and love on them. I
Yep.
think trust is really important for dogs, and I have to learn. One of the things I have to learn is that instantly forgive them after we're correcting them will help them to improve even more. So yeah.
Definitely. They can tell, there's a lot of people that their dog made this mistake in the past and they hold that mistake against their dog. And that's almost just like reaffirming that they're going to do it again because you haven't trusted them yet.
Yeah,
And since you don't trust them, they, for some reason, can pick up on that.
it's true. And then I'm well, as we're talking about this, it's something I cannot talk about this because we're working on that. So I would tell you when she graduate that. Um, but I for me it's a joke for her or to her, but I think I need to stop calling her that name because I don't think she will like it. And this morning I tried to discipline her on that matter, and she was so scared, which is not a good thing. But since we have a trust, we still hang out. We love each other, and so yeah,
She's certainly a joy to our family.
yes. Okay,
Big, huge time joy. Okay, so
let's move on to
we'll
the
start
next
off
question.
with you for answering this next one, which is how have you grown as a person this year?
Well, as I mentioned that even though I had a dog before, like dogs before, but I haven't like I think I have a big gap of between the last dog and her Boba. It's just a good refresh in my mind and how to like building trust as I have her. I also received a lot of mistakes that I did with my previous dog. So growing to know a better dog owner will be my answer for this year. What about you?
I think I've had to do a lot of growing this year
Oh
for
yes.
for as a leader, as a so many things have happened at work that have required me to grow as a leader, as a person that sees like the correct way to do things and to make sure that people are being taken care of at work and also at home. So a lot of things have happened at home that I've had to also grow as a leader of the household. So I've had to grow a lot in that area, especially this year. And a lot of it wasn't because I wanted to, but because it required me. Like a lot of situations required me to do that. So I'm thankful for that. It was difficult going through it, but those I guess those are the experiences that we're supposed to go through in order to be able to grow. So if you're just stagnant and not taking on new things, then you're stagnant. But if you're taking on new responsibilities and constantly analyzing them, constantly thinking about like how can I do these things better, then growth comes through that. And having a spouse, a lovely, wonderful spouse at home to get new perspective on, I think is a huge advantage. So that also helped me grow.
Yeah.
You helped me grow through those trials and tribulations.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. As you mentioned, I remember that I heard a quote mention that if like you won't learn or grow if you don't feel the pain. So if you are feeling certain things, some area in your life, and you feel like, oh, I'm struggling, well, take a good note on that you are growing in that aspect, even though that maybe you not even recognize it, but you are growing because you feel that pain. So that's a good thing to feel. Ready for next question?
Yes.
Okay, so what moments brought you the most joy and why?
There were so many joyful moments this year. There was the honeymoon, which was really, really fun. There
That's true.
was the Sequoia Yosemite trip, which we well documented on the Engaging Walk podcast, our YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen that one yet, definitely check it out. The pregnancy, all of the seeing and feeling the little girl kicking there and punching has been, yeah, I think there's so many things to point to, but I think the very first moment that I felt her kick in your belly and feeling that was the most joyful moment of this year. It's it's such a for why it's such an amazing experience is to see life growing inside and to like, yeah, just to feel them kick and moving around in there is like, wow, there's actually a baby in there.
I know. It's sometimes I'm like, is it for real? Like there's a person in there, you know? Yeah. For me, I think I would say pretty much the same. Like the honeymoon, it was epic. We had it in
Phoenix.
Arizona. Well, we traveled from Phoenix all the way to Page, and then back. And then Sequoia, Yosemite trip, that definitely Santa Barbara. Those are, all new places for me to see in person. And of course, I think, but the top one would be the moment I saw her on
The ultrasound?
the ultrasound. Like, I was like, what is that? It looked like peanuts, but then it's moving, and then this girl is really active, and even like the nurse have a hard time to like track her down. So yeah, it was for me. It's a moment like I was like, what is that? Oh my gosh, getting to know it's kind of funny because she's in you, like she's in me, not you. She's in me, and I still like, is it truth? Is it like she's in me? Okay, so for one thing that about me, that for me it take time to digest and process my thought and my feeling. Like asking me my emotion, my thought, my feeling right away, I was like, I don't know. So yeah. So that's a lot for me to process at that point. I think Drake was crying when she saw her, and for me it was like stunned. And I remember the first time when the nurse saw my reaction. She, are you okay? And then she was concerned. I'm like, no, I'm just digesting the news. Okay, I'm fine. So yeah.
So in what ways have you? We'll move on to the next question. In what ways have you taken care of yourself this year?
Definitely for the pregnancy that taught me how to take care of myself. Like just to say, okay, I'm gonna rest today and do nothing. That's a big thing for me, because I love to do things. Even I'm sick, I want to do something, and it's just something that I don't know. That's how I grew up with.
Rubie loves to be productive and loves to be active and
Yeah.
working on things.
Yeah.
That's her personality.
Yes. And so doing for my whole day, did not do anything would stress me out so much. Because at the end of the day, I was like, what have you done today? And my answer is nothing. That would stress me out. But for pregnancy, I have to learn, like, it's okay not to do things, because I'm still doing things by letting my body heal and let my body adjust to the new stage of life. And I mean, like, this is my first pregnancy, so I don't know how my body will respond. And then every different pregnancy have different journey. So
Yep.
that's what I learned. Be super grateful to myself.
Yeah, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Very, very
I'm
proud
trying.
of how you've handled the pregnancy and taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and stay positive. Yes, That's my two big lessons for this year. What about you?
For taking care of myself, I think I didn't do such a good job this year. But I'd say if I did have to pick something, it would be taking time every now and then to pick up the guitar and just play something. Even though I don't play anywhere near as much as I used to, it's still great to just pick up the guitar every now and then and connect with music and to connect with the sounds and the excitement and the journey of playing music.
Cool. That's pretty cool. Let's move on to the next one. What new skills or hobbies have you developed?
I'd say for skills, definitely, like I mentioned earlier, leadership. That was a new skill that I've had to develop. And I've also developed a lot in terms of being an audio engineer and editing, especially doing like music production and audio engineering. I'd say I did a lot of it during 2022, but during 2023 it's become more of a science to me that I can do it just very quickly. What used to take me weeks and weeks, I can do now in like a couple of days. Or what used to take me a day and a half, I can do in a couple of hours. So I've become way more efficient at those things, and that has become a skill that I have really honed over the last year. What
Cool.
about you?
I would say since we went to the conference search, if you don't know, that is a business conference, and I learned entrepreneurial mindset look like after hearing so many testimony stories from entrepreneurs. It's just so inspiring, and so I learned how to shift from consumer mindset into an entrepreneurial mindset instead of using into investing, creating, and of course doing the podcast. I've grown a lot in terms of provide the content and also the camera works. So yeah, I
Yeah, a
enjoy
lot of
doing that.
creating, a lot of doing logos and artwork.
Yeah, which is I love to do it. So
And Rubie was also very involved in the video editing. So she has a very artistic outlook on life.
thank you, Jesus.
Okay, so we'll start off with you for this one.
Sure.
How have your relationships evolved and strengthened this year?
I would say that our relationships, I mentioned, like there's ups and downs. Things that we think that we are. I mean, like the communication for between us. Sometimes understanding you how even more in terms of when you're tired, how you want your day planned out. So for me, I learned that you prefer not to stack so many things at the same time. For me, I prefer stack everything on one day. So I have to learn how to balance it, and then in a way that maybe I can do those certain things that I want to do. And the one thing also I learned and picked up that we like to do things together all the time, and sometimes it's very helpful, sometimes not. So what I learned is that maybe things that I can do on my own, which is like my personal errands, it will free you to do certain things. And then, when things that we would love to do together, like planning for the weeks or, grocery or things that we passionate to talk about, then we can do it together. So that's what I think will strengthen the relationship, that we have more freedom to do things that we are without strength. And when we need to do our personal thing, it's okay to do personal things, on our own.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And I'd say that also we've grown to being more as one. throughout the year. And a lot of that comes from just so many little adjustments. There's there's so many little adjustments that you have to make when living together for the first and being married together for the first year that it can be so overwhelming at first.
Yeah.
It's like so many little different things that you have to do differently, and those little things all compound into being big things. But once you communicate through them and work through them and find things that work, the rougher edges start being more rounded, and you still find things like Rubie's talking about, but there's so many things that you can base off of a common ground, that the new smaller things are just small things, and you can just take them for what they are and accept them and find a new way forward to making them not so much of a problem, or just realizing like, hey, those things we are a problem and we can just deal with them a new way. And so our relationship has really evolved in that way. And then I've also had had a new evolution in my relationship with my mother because of so many different events that have happened this year, that I have a new appreciation for her as a mom.
Yeah. And I think I want to add a little bit some more into that, to my answer, that it take a lot of sharing, be honest with your feeling toward your partner, and together find a solution. And of course, still we constantly being a powerful person. What I try to say is that I love organize my table, and I feel agitated when it's not organized or color coordinated.
Yeah.
Yes, I very particular with that. If it's white, everything have to go white. I don't like too much color. Would drive me crazy. But then Drake said, "Oh, cool. That's it. Sure. Thank you for sharing that. But you know what, Ruby, you can sort things out because you can do it and you're good at organizing things." So he will give me solution. Oh no, not so solution, suggestions, and then let me handle that. So that is my project, not his project, because that's my table. Because I know that even if I let him organize my stuff, I will come back and say, okay, I'm gonna organize my way. So I mean, that's how I am, and how I grow up with.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, hey, look, I can help you with getting you a new drawer, getting you a new thing so that you can organize them more. But
I
at the end of the day, it's your... Just like I wouldn't expect her to come into my studio and be like, this is what you should do, and then that's going to be the solution that I'm going to be happy with. I know how I want my studio.
Yeah.
And I'm open to suggestions, but at the end of the day, it's my studio. It's how I'm going to work. So, yeah, I think... And then Rubie is very, very organized and likes things to be tucked away and likes things to be neat. But there's always limitations that we have to come up into in terms of like space or the amount of it's just like a Sudoku game. If we then buy too many cabinets, well, now we have a clutter problem where the cabinets themselves are clutter. So finding the solution that works for her is like, I'm here to build the thing for you, haul it upstairs, and take out the trash. But at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be happy with it, And she's really great at organizing and making. That's another thing that we have grown into as a couple is what I've noticed is like I do a lot of the if we're doing the painting, I do the broad strokes, and then she does the fine strokes.
Yeah.
I do the building, the moving things, the hard physical labor, and then she does the tweaking. This should be like this. This should be like that. This other thing should be like that. This thing belongs here.
And then I will tell him exactly why is tweaking there, why is my fine stroke look like this, and every single behind the curtain meaning for that. So yes.
And she does a beautiful job at it. And I just have to, yeah, okay, I'm the mule, and then,
Oh.
yeah, but that's someone's got to be the mule. And if it's going to be me to, and then it's not like I don't give my suggestions. I do. But I think just that's part of the thing is understanding your partner's strengths. Her strength is seeing where all the little things go, and also broad view. So like we had to do a lot of those adjustments when we were moving into a much bigger apartment, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But what else? So
I think we still have
our relationships.
four.
Do you have any other relationships that were evolved over throughout this year? So for me, it was you and my mom. Other relationships too, but the big ones that stood out for me was you and my mom. Especially going through parenthood, the pregnancy. I was like, oh wow, my mom went through that 4 times.
Yeah. I think since, this year is very chill for me and pretty much for pregnancy, I think getting to know the girl is also the relationship, but she's not there yet. So I feel like it's not fair because everything is just my perspective about her. So it's just you for this year.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question.
And I think and then the next 3 questions, we can put it on the worksheets where you can find but we're not going to go through it.
Okay.
And then, we're going to jump to the gear up for 2024.
All right, yeah. So like Rubie was saying, that we're going to do this worksheet, all these questions that we've been asking each other. We're going to put them onto a Word document of sorts and put them onto our website, which is www.engagingwalk.com. You can find it on Google. You can find us on Facebook. And we also have plenty of links to our website in each of the podcasts and on YouTube and all of our different social media. But you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and of course at www.engagingwalk.com. So we'll be moving on to gearing up for 2024. But just real quick, one of the things that I've noticed as we have been doing this reflection on 2023 is some of the, like what goes on when you are reflecting on this year is like sometimes it can feel like we didn't do much, or just speaking in general, not for us or for anybody in particular, but it can feel like we didn't do much. And I think this scenario or this feeling has come up for us a few different times, where we reflect back and we're like, oh wow, that happened too. Oh, that happened too. And then sometimes some big event that happens in the year can mask or suck the air out of the room of all the other things that have happened. So especially if you're focusing too much on a negative thing or a very positive thing, it really helps to go through and talk with somebody about all the things that happened throughout this year for you, and think of where you were at the beginning of the year. And I think sometimes we can go through so much growth that you can almost like not even recognize the person that you were at the beginning of the year.
It's true. It's very true.
And, like, especially like a big eventful year like it was for us in 2023, you can go through, stretches of months or things like that where it feels like nothing happens, but reflect back on it and look back at all the things that have happened for you and mark those landmark moments and be proud of them. And share that news with somebody that's like, hey, 2023 was a great year. Some bad things happened, some not so great things happened, but overall you can always find things that you've grown and be proud of those achievements and move forward with that.
Sharing that, like Drake mentioned, sometimes we think we not achieved that much, and then we could start comparing with others, and or look down to ourselves. I think looking into the things that you're grateful and you see that how much you achieve, even though it's even the tiny achievement, is still an achievement. and it's still a growth. And like I mentioned, like even the points that you feel like so painful, so tired of trying, you are still growing into the new you that you don't know yet. And as we move into 2024, just a couple weeks down the road, people would go crazy with resolution. Is
Yep.
resolution doesn't start with the beginning of a year or any of the year. That's what I'm seeing. It's the growth is never stop growing. It's just like when you look into your journey of education, it start when way before you enter into kindergarten, and it's never stop. And like when you graduate high school or college or in PhD, MBA, it's never stop. Learning is the journey, and that's what I learned is that to be grateful and nice and kind to myself and look like, hey, even like not much, yes, I still grow something, through the year.
Definitely.
And be kind and nice to yourself, and just don't like chop the year, okay, this is the year and this is the star. Sometimes for me, when I think it's down the road, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, I start realize that resolutions not gonna, a new year not gonna helpful, or even like sometimes I feel like it more even giving more burden because I'm like, oh no, I have to finish in this year. Sometimes when you finish 2023, as you answer these questions, you feel like, oh yeah, just like for example Drake, you mentioned like, oh, I love to do more music next year. I haven't done much or touched my guitar much in this year that compared to the previous year, but it's okay, he still touch it. But now how are you going to do it forward to 2024?
Yeah,
Maybe more,
there's
maybe less, maybe the same, maybe different. So it's a journey.
there's always that expression that the gym is full on January 1st. And then as the month goes on, it becomes, it goes back to the regulars. And that is what we want. This next section that we want to talk about is a reflection of that. Have meaningful, small goals that you can do and reflect back on and say, yep, I did something. I did something productive, whether it be in the area of finance, emotional growth, physical growth, spiritual growth. We want you guys to pick something from those areas and build on those goals and make something small and tangible. And, there's that famous Navy SEAL admiral that loves talking about making your bed in the morning. Mm-hmm. And we do that. We're very good at making our bed. And the small psychological impact that making your bed has is a continuum, just like how that admiral, I think it was like Admiral McGivern, something like that, McCraven. He what he talks about is so true, that when you accomplish something, keep going with it.
Yes.
The making your bed in the morning is one small accomplishment. If your room's a mess, pick one area that you want to make clean and make organized. And I think for a lot of us, especially for myself and Rubie, our living space is a great reflection of our minds. And the cleaner and more organized our living space is, the less clutter there is in our minds, and we can go forward and do and accomplish more. So there was so many things that we accomplished this year, but a lot of it was due to us working together, making tasks that were small and manageable, and deadlines, and writing our goals each week and crossing them out. That satisfying feeling of crossing out a task can go a lot of places, and can really be motivating to move on and do more things. I know for me, like, a big thing is physical. I need to be more fit, and I need, and I know how to do it. It's just my focus hasn't been there, but that's life. But that's not discouraging, because there's so many other things that I can point to, especially for this year, that I was able to accomplish. And as things slow down in one area, I can be like, okay, well, I'm going to put more effort into physical fitness goals.
Yeah. So, having said that, as you doing the reflection worksheets, you can go on to that and then see like, oh, maybe pick 3 areas that you would like to improve or learn deeper on that matter. For example, like I learned this, I'm still learning that subject. Like for my spiritual growth, I remember like every year I will ask the God, what is it I need to dive deeper in. Not that I learned it already, but I'm sure that He always have new understanding that I can learn from Him. Not He has it, I need to learn from Him. So He had been teaching me about humility, and every single year I will ask myself again, or even I ask the God, like, is it time to move on to the next topic, or do I need to sit on this? And I haven't sitting on that for like 3 years, and also resting. I think 3 years ago He introduced me resting and Sabbath. What does that really mean? And as I let Him teach me, I go deeper in understanding. So, it's applying to the rest of other, things that you want to do. Maybe you can look into things that you want to grow more into this year. For Drake, it could be like physical, for music, business. But keep the list again short, because if we put too much on the plate, we're going to be overwhelmed, and that's not what we want. We want to have clear goal and then short and sharp list so that we can laser focus on those things, and that's how we learn how to have again boundary, say no to things, and stay more joyful throughout the year.
Yeah, and then going back to this idea of the Sabbath, when God took the 7th day to rest, He didn't just rest, He reflected. He looked back on what He had done and said it was good.
Yeah, so it's very good to have reflection, not just the year end, but also like more often that we.
It's motivating to look at your accomplishments.
Yeah.
And because if you're just go, and you don't take the time to look back, not only are you going to get burnt out, but you're going to get frustrated at, I didn't do anything. But if you take that time to look back, you will find something, and that something will motivate you going forward into 2024. It's going to be an amazing, awesome year for everybody. We pray for that for everybody, for all of our listeners. We love you guys, and we want you guys to use these tools and let us know what you guys think about them.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the assignment? Or that was the assignment that Rubie talked about, is pick 3 small realistic goals in those areas, and we'd love for you guys to share them with us.
Sure. And for if you faith-based or Christian, we are Christian, so for us, we, instead of creating our own list, always we involve God in, and just have a quiet time and ask the Lord, like, God, what do you want me to do this year? What is the focus thing that we can go with you on the journey? Because He's a creator. He know way much better than we do. And just look back into 2023, so many things that happened to us because of His guidance. Like I didn't plan to go to the conference for business, business conference, and He's the one that led us there, and our life changed way so much because of that conference, and so much things that snowball after that. But
For sure.
and then even like the pregnancy, He's the one that planned that the baby into our life. So ask Him. He's the creator. He loves you guys, and he loves every one of us, and He makes sure that he look out for us. So yeah.
Amen to that. So all right, let's move on to we want to make sure that you guys tune in next week. So we're going to be having a new discussion, and it's sort of going to be expanding on this episode, but we're going to be talking about vision. So what vision do we have for this new year? This is slightly different, but a lot different than a New Year's resolution. This is going into what does this new year look like for us? What sort of goals do we have? And how do we plan on accomplishing them? And we're going to be talking about that in a 3-part series. On one area, we're going to be focusing on emotional development. Another area, we're going to be focusing on physical development and spiritual development for us, and for what that looks like for folks that want to develop in these areas as well. So it'll be an exciting 3-part series, and we're going to dive really deep into these areas. So yeah, with that, we want to make sure that you guys please give us a subscribe, a like, and comment on your goals and aspirations that you have for 2024. We're curious to know what you guys have planned for this new year in terms of emotional development. Maybe there's physical things that you want to accomplish for fitness and things like that. And what sort of spiritual goals do you guys have? We'd love to hear in the comments. Easiest way for you guys to comment would be on our YouTube channel. And with that, I am Drake.
And my name is Rubie.
And we're from Engaging Walk.
We're signing out. Bye.